What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. Today we are talking about the NASCAR playoffs and the changes that are needed to be made for a more legitimate champion. So anyways, let's go ahead and just jump straight into it. If you've been on social media and been on YouTube over the course of this last week, there's been a lot of talk and conversation surrounding the NASCAR playoffs and the NASCAR playoff system itself. Many fans after this past weekend's championship race on Sunday, including myself, were very frustrated and really disappointed with the outcome of the championship. Now, one of the big reasons why a lot of people are mad is because of Joey Logano winning the championship. But most people I have seen, some of them probably sure are mad at Joey Logano because Joey Logano is not a very popular driver. But it's because Joey Logano had a very mediocre season in 2024. Sure, Joey Logano picked up 4 victories in the season, which is second most of any driver with the active wins, I think, are for this year. However, Joey Logano only had 7 top 5s and 13 top 10 finishes and had a 17.11 average finish. That is the least amount of top 5s for a champion since 1950, the least amount of top 10s for a championship since 1950 when Bill Rexford won the title, and the worst average finish for a NASCAR Cup Series champion in the history of the NASCAR Cup Series. Many fans feel like that is a joke of a system, and many fans are very angry about that. And in fact, even Joey Logano made the championship for this year, despite the fact that he was not very good all season long, is a major problem. Now, I don't want Joey Logano to get any hate toward him because it's not Joey Logano's fault that the system is wrong. Joey Logano should not be blamed for anything going on. Now, do I think a lot of the backlash toward the playoff system right now is because of Joey Logano winning the championship? For sure, understandable. We have to go back 4 years ago when Kevin Harvick, who was the best driver all year long, did not make the championship 4. And there was a lot of criticism 4 years ago on the championship at that point, because Chase Elliott was then called Mickey Mouse, despite the fact that Chase Elliott was one of the best drivers in 2020. In this current system, there's been only 3 drivers in the Latford system, with the Sage Twins being added to that would have won the championship if you look at Racing Reference's non-playoff standings. Kyle Larson in 2021, Kyle Busch in 2019, and I do believe Mark Truex Jr. in 2017 are the only 3 drivers who have won this championship in this system that would have won in the Latford system as well. In fact, Mark Truex Jr. would be the only driver who's pretty much won in every single format in this system. Now, their talk has become such a major talking point that NASCAR, according to Adam Stern and other reporters in the industry, it sounds like there might be some changes that are coming to the format in 2025 and 2026. And Jarrett brought this up on the podcast that he has heard, the Iceberg, by the way, has heard that they were already talking about maybe making some potential changes before Martinsville happened and after Martinsville happened. And the fact that there's so much backlash toward it tells that they're looking to make changes. Now, they're looking at maybe getting rid of winning your in-press and other certain systems as well, like basically locking your way into the playoffs or having a certain criteria and maybe going to a 3-race round instead of a 1-race round. Now, I have seen a lot of people who've made their formats, and I do like some of the other systems they have where you have like 3 races to determine a champion instead of 1. I think most people can agree that basically a 1-race championship is not working for NASCAR. There's too many outside factors that come into play, and there definitely need to be changes made in that front for things to get a lot better. There is no reason that we should have 1 race to crown a champion, because what's the point of watching the whole entire season if it's only going to be determined by 1 race? I could just sit back and not watch till the end of the year and not really know the outcome of the championship. There's no reason that a guy like Joey Logano had a 17.11 average finish should have been able to race for a championship, while guys like Kyle Larson, Chase Elliott, and Christopher Bell, who were all objectively better, should have been able to compete for a title instead of a guy like Joey Logano. So now today I'm going to talk about my format a little bit and talk about some changes that I would like to see toward the system. There are 3 big changes for sure that I would like to see. Number 1, there is no more winning your in. There is no reason a driver that's 34th or 35th in the standings should be able to compete for a NASCAR Cup Series championship. I'm sorry, it was really cool to see Harrison Burton pick up the win in victory, and really cool to see Wood Brothers finally get that 100th win after been looking for about 6 or 7 years up to this point. We should be celebrating that win a lot more. We also put too much emphasis on winning races. I think consistency should definitely be the way to go. There's no reason a guy in the middle of the pack should have been able to make it. A guy like Harrison Burton, meanwhile you had guys like Bubba Wallace, Ross Chastain, and Chris Buescher who were clearly better than Harrison Burton all year, and other drivers that made the playoffs. There's no way that he should have made it in, while those three drivers should have been able to make it in. So winning you're in absolutely has to go. I've had a problem with the winning you're in system for nearly 4 to 5 years at this point. That is a system that absolutely desperately needs to go. There's also going to be no more of having just one race to crown a champion. One race championship is stupid. I've been against it for a very, very long time. It shouldn't be based off of one race. There's no reason that we should have a one race champion to crown a title. We should have multiple races to determine it, especially since some drivers' skill sets are set for certain tracks. Penske has figured out at Phoenix the last 3 years, and that's why they've won the title. And at this point, you're probably betting that Penske is going to win the title in 2025. But there should be no one race to determine it. And also, we changed the name of the playoffs. Playoffs are in every other sport, like the MLB, the NHL, the NFL, all that stuff. NASCAR is different than all stick and ball sports. The NHRA, I think they have a postseason, if I'm not mistaken, and they do the countdown to the championship. For supercars, they do the finals that it will be doing for this season. I think NASCAR should change the name back to the Chase. The Chase cost some identity for the playoff system. And I do believe that if NASCAR changed the name of the playoffs to the Chase, I think that definitely would be the way to go, in my opinion. So we're changing the name away from the playoffs and going back to the Chase for the Cup, for Chase for all three series. That would definitely make a lot of sense. But now let's get to my format and my idea on a championship. So I've seen, like I said, a lot of formats where we do like a 3-race and eliminations and stuff. But with my format, we're getting rid of the elimination format. We are not having round systems to determine a champion. For me, we have 10 races to crown a champion. 10 of the final 10 races of the year, very similar to the Chase. That's how you determine a champion. You don't just do one race or 3 races, even 5 races. If you have 10 races to determine a champion, it is a much more sustainable. Now, I would love to go back to the Winston Cup format or the lap first system, but I don't think the NASCAR will ever go back to the lap first system. They've been doing the postseason now for 20 years. I don't think they're going to change it up, even though I would love to see it change. If you have 10 races to determine a champion, that is definitely a lot better than just having 1 or 3 races. So I think they should definitely go back to 10 races to determine a champion. We're also shrinking the amount of people that make the playoffs. Only 12 drivers at the maximum can make the postseason. I'm sorry, there is no reason that 16 drivers should be able to make the postseason. Especially if 2011 and Front Row lose their charters, we may only have 30 chartered cars in 2025 because they got the lawsuit going on with Michael Jordan, everyone involved in that. So you would have over half the field making the postseason. That is something that needs to change. I think only having 12 drivers that make the playoffs every year should be the way to go. And it's based off of consistency. It's not based off of winning a race. You shouldn't be able to lock your way into the playoffs or the Chase. They absolutely need to get rid of that. And I think that 12 drivers should absolutely be the maximum that makes it. Now, wins, however, are going to matter a lot more with the consistency. Instead of getting 5 playoff points for winning a race, you get double that. You get 10 playoff points. Number one, that will emphasize winning a lot more, but you're also not going to fully tear your equipment up. But if you get a win, that is a massive and huge advantage. So they're going to want you to perform at a very, very strong and really good level. And I think having 10 playoff points for winning a race works a lot more. You also can use those 10 playoff points when you do win. For instance, if you have 10, basically 5 wins in the regular season, you get 50 playoff points right there at the start. And you're going to have a major advantage at the beginning. So I think 10 playoff points would be the way to go. If you lead a lap in a race, you get 1 extra point. I think leading a lap needs to be very important. I think lap sled is something that's kind of been forgotten over the course of the last few years since they got rid of bonus points leading a lap after 2016. I think leading a lap should absolutely be the way to go. If you lead the most laps of the race, you get 2 points. So you double that from leading a lap to the most laps. I think that the driver gets the most laps should be able to get 2 points extra. That's 2 extra points they get throughout the event, and they can earn that as well. If you win a stage, we're keeping the same thing because we're going to keep the stages in. However, along with getting a playoff point for winning the stage and also having the 10-to-1 system that we have, I think the stage cautions absolutely need to go. I actually do like the system of the stages where we award points throughout the race. I think that is a really, really good decision that NASCAR made, at least with the stages. The one issue that most people, including myself, have had is the fact that basically we only have stage yellows that break up the action. If you have action throughout the event and you keep it going, you don't have those breakups, and I think it keeps the racing really, really exciting. Sometimes, yes, you are going to have a blowout, but I do guarantee you that if you have that in the system, it is going to be a lot better. So I think getting rid of the stage yellows would absolutely be the way to go. The regular season champion. This is a big one for me. We are increasing the amount of points the regular season champion gets. They will get, instead of 15 playoff points, 25 playoff points. I think 25 playoff points should absolutely be the way to go, in my opinion. Instead of giving out 15, you give out 25 playoff points. I think that should be the way. I think the regular season champion should basically be in contention for the championship. You look at the chase errors, right? All the champions were inside of the top 5 of this regular season or in the other points format. I think the regular season champion should be able to get a lot more playoff points, and 25 for the winner. Second gets, in my opinion, probably 20 or maybe 17 or 18. Third goes down to about 15. Fourth will go down to like 12. Fifth gets to 10. Sixth gets to 8, in my opinion. Seventh probably goes down to 6. Eighth goes down to 4. Ninth goes to 2, and then 10th gets 1. And 11th and 12th will not be able to get playoff points. I think that this system definitely will, while it will award basically winning a lot more and emphasize winning in a really big way, it also offers a barrier and kind of a bridge of a gap of consistency as well. I think that we should be having a lot more of the most deserving drivers competing for a championship. And I think the fact that we haven't been doing that and we've kind of lost that in recent years is very, very disappointing. Guys like Kyle Larson, Christopher Bell, and Chase Elliott should have been able to compete for a championship this year. And in this system that I have, those drivers most likely are going to be the ones winning and contending for championships. And you're not going to have a driver who's been mediocre in the season like Joey Logano was this year going out and winning the championship. I think that we need to see more deserving drivers win the championships, and I think if we're going to have a NASCAR playoff system going forward, it needs to be a little more based off of consistency, and I really hope NASCAR does make those necessary changes to get the sport in the right direction. They are looking to make changes, and hopefully they kind of use some of the stuff that I use for my system to determine a champion. So, hopefully we do see changes going forward on that front. So, that is going to be today's NASCAR news and basically special breaking video on the NASCAR playoffs. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, notifications on, so if I win a video, it does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go to the below that and comment your thoughts below on today's episode. What changes would you like to see in the NASCAR playoff format, or do you think NASCAR should keep doing the same thing? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Unless any major news breaks later today, we'll have no more videos dropping. Tomorrow, we're going to have a NASCAR news video discussing news over the course of the last couple days. We're also going to probably be doing some other content, maybe like a small silly season update or something like that, and some of the big storylines have been announced at this point. And I probably will have some sort of video talking about what will be coming during the off season as well. I will have a lot of prediction videos coming this off season, so expect a lot of great content dropping. We'll talk about drivers like Haley Deegan, Shane Van Gisbergen this week as well, and Carl Edwards, Kurt Busch, and other people, and Kyle Busch and Bubba Wallace as well this week. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.